How does this random guy with now 3 songs come out of nowhere and in a span of 3 months have 10 million monthly listeners, be named Kanye West's favorite new artist, and have a remix with literally Drake on just his second song? That's an unbelievable 3-month span for an allegedly independent artist.
We need to strike a really huge line between unsigned and independent.
DIY.
Okay, DIYers, there has been a story circulating this young emerging artist named Forbats. R&B artist, kind of blends genres together. Kind of reminds me a little bit of like a Don Toliver. And he's been doing these falsetto R&B songs that have not only been doing a disgusting amount of streams, but they've also been getting the attention of artists like Drake and Kanye West. Now, you may be asking, well, what's the big deal about this? Many people are pointing the fingers at his suspicious rise to attention and stardom, and they're calling him an industry plant. In this video by 1111 YouTuber, he breaks down the mysterious rise of Forbats.
With just 2 songs released, this mysterious new artist, Forbats, accomplished more than many artists do in their entire careers. However, blowing up so fast has of course also brought controversy.
Any artists out there that impress you right now that are coming up?
Forbats.
After exploding out of nowhere and taking the internet by storm, 22-year-old Forbats has not only sparked a bidding war between every major record label to sign him, but countless mainstream stars continue to show their support, including Kanye, Drake, and SZA, with Drake even having dropped a remix of Forbats' second song ever released. Not to mention his now over 10 million monthly listeners on Spotify and 1 million followers across TikTok and Instagram, which he just created all of his accounts in November. That's an unbelievable 3-month span for an allegedly independent artist.
Let's start here.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
I don't want to give you guys the predictable point of view because it's going to look like I'm anti-industry, and I'm not. I'm really not. I'm pro-independence. But this is where people are having the most issue with Forbats. First of all, let me just say this. The music that I've been hearing by this artist sounds really effing good. Right? It's a really unique sound, and I think on his own merit, it sounds like music that a lot of people would gravitate towards. There's been comparisons to artists like The Weeknd, to Drake, to Don Toliver, and it makes sense why people gravitate towards it. But it's kind of hard to believe when you see like this latest thing here where they figured out that he just made his account recently on Instagram, and all of a sudden, just out of nowhere, 10 million streams just pop up off of 2 songs. It's a fair assessment to be suspicious, I should say.
As the overnight viral sensation he is, Forbats' come-up has raised more questions than answers, with many quick to label him an industry plant, especially after hearing who his manager is. In this video, we reveal the truth behind Forbats' suspicious rise to fame.
Let's also define industry plant. Industry plants are typically what the internet puts out there for artists that they feel like have been artificially grown, made to look like they're independent, but have been placed in opportunities that are not always accessible, usually never accessible to independent artists. They look at these people almost like agents who are put out on assignment to look independent but move major.
Nico Bennett, aka Forbats, is a 22-year-old upcoming artist from Dallas, Texas. Or at least so we think. Drawing comparisons to another R&B star, The Weeknd's mysterious blow-up, very little is known about Forbats in his background. According to his SoundCloud and Twitter locations, it's assumed he's from Dallas. But due to the fact that he's only done a few short written interviews, not only is one of the top searches Forbats' real voice, but again there are a lot of questions we need to answer. Like, how does this random guy with now 3 songs come out of nowhere and in a span of 3 months have 10 million monthly listeners, be named Kanye West's favorite new artist, have every big streamer reacting to him, and have a remix with literally Drake on just his second song?
Come and slap by 8 p.m.
Yo, what the
Like almost all of us on first listen, Kai Cenat was surprised right away by the contrast between Forbats' vocals and the visuals. A move which, as we'll see in a second, was likely curated by his genius manager. I respect NBA Youngboy because he's a guy in the industry that don't want to f with everybody. Bats explains in one of his rare online interviews, you see people's true colors in this industry. I'm like that too, I don't f with nobody for real. After beginning to take music seriously around the age of 14, followed by years of what he calls procrastinating, all it took was, quote, getting his little heart broke for Forbats to finally release music.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
I'm holding my opinion to the end, but this shit feel like wrestling, don't it? I started messing with this music shit like 14 and like shit, like type shit. Like I got my heart broken, and then like I just decided to just pull up on scene and then shit. Before you know it, I had 10 million listeners off of 2 songs.
Official debut single dropped in June of 2023, along with his first music video in October. But while yes, the music video is very well produced, it's a pretty standard R&B video with no shocking aesthetic contrasts, like what was about to make him viral. And although like all of his videos, Act 1 Stickers 99 now sits at over 2 million views on YouTube, it didn't initially blow up right away like his other songs have. You may be thinking, well, that's normal for a new artist's first single, and you're right. However, just a month later, 4bat's next move was about to change his life forever, no longer having to work at Burger King.
Oh, Lord.
Playing arguably just as big of a role in his come-up as the music, in November of 2023, 4bat's released the first of his 2 viral From the Block performances. As a popular series on the 4 Shooters Only YouTube channel where artists rap their songs outside with a microphone hanging from the sky, 4bat's took the internet by storm with his Act 1 Stickers 99 From the Block performance.
What the hell? Yo, never judge a book by its cover. Oh my god.
Was not expecting his voice to sound like that, one fan commented. I thought this was a drill rapper. Nicknamed The Hood Brent Faiyaz, a month later 4bat's would keep his momentum rolling and drop Act 2 of his series titled Date at 8, paired with another From the Block performance. As currently the 3rd most viewed video ever on their channel at an impressive 8 million views, more than guys like Polo G, Offset, and NLE Choppa, 4bat's 2nd single Act 2 Date at 8 and this performance instantly blew up all over TikTok and social media. Dressed in simply a black tank top with a shiesty mask and gold grills backed by a deep crew behind him, 4bat's soft R&B sound is the exact opposite of what you'd expect to hear when you see this video.
So I bought you another pair.
My nigga, is this the right song? Or am I tripping? What the hell am I listening to?
My gut instinct, and probably your spotty senses are tingling as well, tells me as much as they would like you to believe this was all just a natural rise, we can see the obvious all over all of this, of how calculated this was. Now, the real conversation I think that we should be having is for such a strategic marketing effort to appear independent, which it may be. I think when we have conversations like this, we need to strike a really huge line between 2 terms, unsigned and independent. Yes, on paper, you are an independent artist by way of management, as you'll see here in a second, by way of network, by way of accessibility. You're using resources that are generally made available to major label signed artists. You're just not currently signed. I don't know if this is this person's situation, but it damn sure feels like that. The conversation we're having right now feels like part of the rollout, which is hilarious.
Off of this shock value contrast alone, the video began spreading like crazy. However, it doesn't take long before the song's catchy chorus is stuck in your head. While only having 2 songs released, 4bat's was raking in millions of streams as well as cosigns from multiple mainstream stars. Too hard, comments SZA. Fire, Ty Dolla $ign. Another one, says DJ Khaled, Timbaland. I was just sleeping on the floor and now I'm on the phone with Ye, y'all can't tell me nothing. That's posted on the phone FaceTiming Kanye. Then, to continue his series, his next new single, Act 3, On God She Like, would release on March 1st, once again gaining traction on social media. It's honestly crazy impressive how much success 4bat's has found so far in his early music career.
You know, this is how crazy shit has become in this music industry. The come-up story, as it used to be, of working your way up the ranks, people seeing the hard work out there in front of you, and you seeing this artist from being inside the posse or being inside the entourage of this one rapper, seeing them finally get their opportunity on a featured verse on a major album with the artist that they're in the entourage of, seeing them finally get their shot at being on 106 in Park or like a Rap City free, you know what I'm saying, in a booth freestyle. We're now in a time where that is not as guaranteed a success story. That is not as relatable as him appearing to be just some guy who got lucky. This doesn't just inspire people who are fans or early adopters of 4bat's. This also inspires a whole fan base of up-and-comers who feel like, that could happen to me. Look at what happened to 4bat's. Drake could be listening to my shit tomorrow. All I gotta do is follow his model. Let me tap into what he does and stay tapped in. And then it gets us having conversations, which is part of the rollout as well.
Listing some of his favorite artists and inspirations as Chief Keef, Miguel, Mint Condition, Tupac, and 50 Cent, Forbat's unique genre-bending, high-pitched approach has clearly been working for him.
Think y'all got one with this one? This thing right here.
Fucking nails.
Y'all, man.
However, despite claiming that he's independent with
Some of these folks that pop up as a celebrity names is one text message away from a Forbats look. They're one text message away. Hey, big bro, I got this artist that I'm working right now. Don't tell nobody though. Hey, could you like talk about him on your stream? Hey, yo, Kai, what's up, bro? Fan, what's good, bro? Hey, I need a little favor real quick. This artist I'm about to break, but don't tell nobody. This is what it appears to be. I don't have any details, but this is what it appears to be.
every major record label in a bidding war to sign him. Today, a lot of fans will tell you that Forbats has already been secretly working with a label behind the scenes. Literally under every post about Forbats, you'll see comments claiming that he is an industry plant. Which honestly, after seeing how fast he blew up though, can you really blame them? Typically, it takes years for a brand new independent artist to gain the following that Forbats was able to in just 3 months. Not only was his Twitter account truly created in December, his Instagram was made in November, and his TikTok and YouTube were both created in October. He has no hidden back catalog on SoundCloud unless previously deleted. He's done no live performances. Nico Bennett just filed for the Forbats trademark in December of 2023.
Interesting. He just filed for that trademark in 2023 because nobody was looking for it. Perhaps he filed for the trademark because he knew the look that was prepared for him, the table that was set for him. Just speculating. But all these details just seem really interesting as they start to unravel themselves. And this is not their responsibility, by the way. I don't put this on Forbats or his team. They're just doing their job to break an artist, and they're doing a hell of a job. Salute to them. But this is why you can't look at people that are in these arrangements, that are in these circumstances without knowing the details and compare your career to them. They're creating their own definitions of independence.
But yet his second song ever charts on the Billboard Hot 100, and he's the face of multiple Spotify editorial playlists. All of these are big signs that would easily lead someone to believe Forbats has been receiving help from industry connections, which is indeed partly true. Defined by the Urban Dictionary as an artist who has a major label backing their movement but presents themselves as a homegrown startup to create a false organic following, an industry plant acts as if things are miraculously happening for them solely based on their talent, such as media coverage and all of these cosigns. And no, I was not paid to make this video. The reality is industry plants
Neither was I.
are a low-risk, high-reward situation for labels looking to build their next new star. According to his Instagram bio and YouTube descriptions, all of Forbats' releases though have been distributed via Vydia, an independent distribution service similar to a site like DistroKid. So while yes, it is true that as of this video, Forbats is not signed to a major record label, he isn't exactly your typical independent artist.
No shit.
You know what they say, it's a female behind every powerful man.
Exactly.
This is Amber Aji Baker, who is not only Forbats' manager, but also the lead creative manager at RCA Records. RCA Records is a subsidiary record label owned by Sony Music, where
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
This is when you was a kid, you was watching wrestling, and your friend at school told you that wrestling wasn't real, and you decided to like put your VHS tape in and watch SmackDown, and then play it back in slow motion, and you saw when The Rock was putting his hand back, you followed this other hand, and you noticed that every time he was hitting somebody, he did this. Whenever you start seeing someone who's a former employee that has been in that system, I'm sorry, but my spidey senses start to tingle. Sometimes the comeback is quieter than the exit. Extended Warranty isn't just another album drop. It's the sound of dedication, crafted right here in the heart of my home. It's where I rap, produce, mix, master, and even perform shows. It's kind of like my personal Amazon for art directly to you. In Extended Warranty, every track, especially favorites like I Told My Wife.
I haven't told my wife I wanna rap again.
Stand as a chapter of renewal at 39 years of age. This, of course, is my promise to you, this craft, after sharing 9 years of knowledge on YouTube. Now I'm channeling all that energy back into music. And as you know, this means no streaming platforms, just us. And to my supporters, this music, this vision, this success, it's alive because of you. Here's to the art that fuels us, the journeys we share, and the revolution that is just getting started. Get your exclusive copy of Extended Warranty at CurtisKing.com.
Amber has worked since March of 2023. I have established relationships and work with labels such as Atlantic Records, Capitol Records, and Sony Music to produce content for their artists. Her LinkedIn bio reads, I have produced music videos for major artists such as Gucci Mane, Future, The Weeknd, Gunna, Lil Baby, and more.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
First of all, salute to Amber Baker. Salute. You have been doing things that are groundbreaking. You have done your job. You went into that space. You learned everything that you learned. You brought the value that you brought, and it puts you in a place where you earned your spot to work with artists such as Gucci Mane, Future, The Weeknd, Gunna, Lil Baby. You were in charge of producing content for these artists, as well as producing music videos. As a woman in this male-dominated field, as a black woman in this male-dominated field, I salute you. No disrespect for that. I think that's awesome. But this is the unfair advantage that this artist that just came out of nowhere, that just started trademarking shit last year, that just had this mysterious rise. This is the backing that he has. This ain't nobody who just figuring stuff out. This ain't your cousin that you hired for your manager. This a big dog.
And I've also produced commercials for brands such as Puma, Beats by Dre, and AT&T. Also included in her 10 years of industry experience is serving as the tour creative producer for Post Malone's 2022 12 Carat Tour, in addition to working on Doja Cat's new Scarlet album campaign, Tate McRae's Think Later, Chris Brown's 11:11, and much more. She is also currently advancing the career of another emerging artist, Tizo Touchdown, through her creative management and production skills.
Once again, as she should. As she should.
Somebody gonna have to tell
Amber,
the truth, and
you
I'm
are
gonna tell it.
killing it. You're killing it. As you should. You are just doing your job. But I think it's really disingenuous at most to make him appear as just some guy. Because when they say independent artists, they're not saying independent artists in the same sense that you and I discuss independent artists, how we discuss DIYers. When they say independent artists, what they're saying is he's just not signed. And we're running these plays through our own networks, through our own contacts. When I hear this, what I think is they're not responsible for our assumptions. They're not responsible for that. And I feel like they're taking full advantage of that in the process.
But Amber is just as excited and passionate about managing the rising artist 4Bats, as well as two-time Grammy-nominated producer Mike Waves, through her company AB2 Agency. AB2 Agency, also known as a Billionaire's brand, was launched by Amber in 2018, where she's been the talent manager for 4Bats and a freelance video producer for various mainstream artists. Amber Aji Baker's creative vision and experience not only explains why all of 4Bats' music videos have been very high quality from the start, but from the looks of it, she's also played a huge role in building his artist image.
As an up-and-coming artist, unsigned artist that is trying to find a way to get your footing, to get your name out there, wouldn't it be the perfect scenario to align yourself with somebody who has been on the payroll of an RCA and has earned their position to be in charge of the visual representation of an artist? Since we know nowadays, your visual representation on social media is your campaign. Right? Your music is important, but if you can nail the visual, you still are going to get a lot of traction in what you're doing. If you can understand the contrast that a video producer would understand in that, here's this soft voice with a shiesty mask sitting in front of this floating mic that you usually hear a lot of ratchet ass lyrics to, right? With a bunch of folks in a shiesty mask looking real grim, like, you know what I'm saying? Looking real pissed off. They know what that's going to present. They know the network they have access to. They know the reactions that will happen naturally when they see the other big streamers do that, and there's a domino effect from it. It is brilliant marketing, but I think it's unfortunate that they're categorizing that as independent.
It's a look. It's an experience.
Exactly.
Controlling the narrative. I'm passionate about that. I went to HBCU, went to Howard.
Looking here at Amber's Pinterest, the first thing you'll notice is this 47-post collection titled The 5 Acts of 4Bats with photos for inspiration, also potentially revealing that there will be 5 total acts in this little debut series. You'll also find a 36-post collection titled Photo and Cover Art Ideas, which includes this picture of A$AP Rocky and his gold grills.
Let me let you know, for those of you that have never been around folks who are successful in the music industry, the traditional music industry, the record business, nothing is done by accident. This public Pinterest account is not by accident. The fact that you see his manager, and I can say this confidently, the fact that you could see his manager doing these interviews in which she's making it very publicly known, hey, I am managing this. Fans who congregate over from the music that they've heard from this artist and want to know more about this artist are going to naturally find their way to interviews with the manager of this artist, which will lead them down the rabbit hole of the Pinterest of the artist's manager. And so by having these things up, it feels like this even feels a part of the amazing rollout of Forbats. It's genius to give these details, because now you make it seem, now you make fans believe, look what I just found, y'all. I was on Pinterest, you'll never guess. It's pretty brilliant.
Looking very similar to this scene and actually the thumbnail for Forbats Act 2 Dated 8 video. Then there's this post of a 1996 Rave magazine cover saved in the cover art ideas collection. And all of Bat's releases so far have had this circle on.
You think she gonna have a public folder on Pinterest that says album cover ideas and think nobody gonna find it? This is all part of the rollout, fam.
It's also likely as
It's
his
genius.
manager, Amber was the one who first connected with the 4 Shooters Only channel and set up both of Forbats' viral From the Block performances. Again, as the self-described creative content producer dedicated to delivering high-quality and captivating projects that she is, these contrasting visuals to vocals felt perfectly engineered for virality. Not to mention short-form content and his promotion on TikTok has been huge for Bat's growth too. As soon as most people see that Forbats' manager is the lead creative manager at RCA Records, they immediately point to that as the reason for his overnight success. But there's a little more to it. The truth is, whether you want to call him an industry plant or not, Forbats is not like your typical independent rapper who's starting from nothing. And while at the moment it's unclear how he linked up with Amber Aji, there's no doubt that her experience and industry knowledge have been key to the rise of Forbats. However, at the same time, that still does not take away from everything he's accomplished.
No.
These past 5 years, we've seen countless random songs blow up on TikTok, but yet very few artists have been able to capitalize from it like Forbats. There's a reason his songs and videos are all doing millions of streams, and it's because people actually like his music. After having released 3 very good, catchy songs that happen to be the exact type of sound that excels on social media, you can't be mad at Forbats for taking advantage and working with a well-connected and experienced manager in Amber Aji. And just because you have a good manager doesn't automatically mean you will be successful. And
That's
if we're
true.
being honest, today a large majority of the artists we all listen to also had help from someone in the industry along the way. Putting yourself in his shoes, if you could release 3 songs and then become Kanye's favorite new artist with 10 million monthly listeners, as another quote industry plant who I've already covered, whoopty rapper CJ's uncle and manager says, as an artist in that situation, who wouldn't take advantage?
I want to end this on this note. I wish Forbats all of the best, because I think that the skill absolutely lines up with the fandom that you see. Now, the manner in which that was presented is up for debate, but I also think that the debate is part of the rollout. Sorry if I sound conspiracy theorist. I think the debate of whether he's an industry plant is a pre-planned part of the rollout, and I think it's brilliant. I think that's brilliant. Misleading as shit, but it's brilliant. Because now you're asking questions about this artist that you're not asking about another artist who might have been seen as competition in that record business. Now it's like you're going to see comments that fill up this artist that you didn't give a damn about until you saw, hey, he has a remix of his song with Drake. Hey, just recently I saw Courtney had mentioned this. He signed with OVO. Nothing in this industry happens by accident. This is what it looks like when you have a team. This is what it looks like when you have veterans on your team. And there's a lot of people on the internet that seem really angry. Artists, and I don't know, this is not a reason to be angry. It is something to be like, all right, you think I'm stupid? I ain't stupid. This is hilarious. But it's nothing to be angry about. That's why I want to draw your attention over to another post here that I feel like is somewhat related. It's really an on-time post for what we're talking about. This clip here was shared on Instagram, throwback clip of Henry Rollins, who is or was the leader of legendary hardcore band Black Flag. And he's talking about why you should be inspired by the folks that you see, because maybe there's artists in here who are inspired by someone like Forbats, but not awed.
Hey Rollins, I'm your great American pastime. I just wanted to say something, man. I'm going to totally break out of the format and the context here just to say one thing. You all watch MTV probably several hours a week. Why not? You get do what you like. But just understand one thing. When you see these bands doing their thing and you figure, I'll never be that good, I'll never be able to do any of that, realize one thing. A lot of these bands, when they do their records, they're playing to click track. Like, like that because the drummer can't really keep time. And sometimes when you see a song, do you realize that it's like the band played the song 5 different times and they took the best parts of each and glued them together on tape? It's called making a composite. It happens all the time. There still is a wonderful thing you can do with yourself. Instead of being awed by all these people with their wonderful hair and airbrushed faces, you can also go out and get yourself a guitar, learn some rudimentary chords, and play yourself and be only inspired by all these people and not awed by them. You can be awed into submission to where you will sit and be a fan for the rest of your life instead of being someone who does. That's why you should learn the lesson from Nirvana. If you're going to get anything from Nirvana besides the fact that they're a good rockin' band, is the fact that you can be a mere mortal on the planet, not be the big, attractive, perfectly styled guy, have a greasy t-shirt and an attitude, pick up a guitar and actually make some meaningful music.
Really valid points.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
What I take away from that to compare it to this Four Bats rise and the obsession that a lot of true to the term independent artists are having with Four Bats and his rise and mysterious rise, don't be in awe of what you see, right? That's where it's important to get this information, because then you can humanize what seems so superhuman and so extraordinary of a rise. It is their job as a team to do everything in their capacity, everything that is within their reach and within their network to make it look larger than life. Be inspired. It's the reason I'm doing a video right now. I almost didn't do this video because I wasn't sure if the perspective I would give would be balanced enough. I think it was today. You let me know what you think. I wasn't sure if it's gonna be balanced enough or if it would come off as like what some people say, you're just mad because you didn't do it. I'm not mad when I see these things. I just don't believe in Santa. I don't believe in wrestling, right? I'm still entertained. I'm still inspired by seeing a great show be put together. But at the same time, I understand that everything has a cause and effect. Everything has a root, right? Nobody just magically appears and decides to start singing a certain way, finding the perfect beat. The people who are having the biggest criticisms of the Four Bats right now are in awe, but they just don't want to admit it. They're in awe of seeing 10 million monthly listeners on Spotify off of 2 or 3 songs. They're in awe of seeing Kanye West say, yeah, this is one of my favorite artists right now. They're in awe of seeing a Drake co-sign and put his arm around him and eventually sign him to an OVO deal. They just don't know that they're in awe, or they don't want to admit that they're in awe. The takeaway for me is that when you take advantage of the network you do have, you could make anything appear any way. But you have to make sure that your plan is thought out, that you're executing on as many of the decisions that you lay out there, and it's backed by some great music. The rest will take care of itself. We see what's going on here, and I hope that you understand it now after this breakdown. Those are my thoughts, DIYers. Tell me what's your thoughts after this. DIYers, if you enjoyed this content, make sure that you hit the like button and maybe even consider subscribing. Come on, man. Stop being greedy. Peace.